let's talk about Twitchcon. This was my first Twitchcon, and wouldn't you know it, it's the 10-year anniversary of Twitchcon, and I got to experience it for the first time. And let's just start off sharing some stories about my experience. And I'm gonna start with the actual getting to TwitchCon part first. So I head to the airport and I get in. I'm going through security, and I'm talking to this dude. I'm like the TSA agent. You know, he's there behind the like conveyor belts, you know, and like directing shit and whatever. And I haven't been to an airport in 2 years, 3 years. I don't know. It's been a minute since I've been to an airport. And every time, like, if you don't go to an airport for a while, like, chat, like I don't know if you've noticed this, but like they fucking change things so much in terms of like what you're supposed to do, like what the policy is. And so like I go in and I'm like, all right, I don't know what the new policy is. Let's just double check. Are the things that you like are expected to do the same? And that's like, usually you take your shoes off, right? So I'm like, okay, I asked the guy, I'm like, shoes off, jacket off, and he said, shoes, you can leave the shoes on. Like, okay, this guy was mumbling first off. He was mumbling, so I didn't quite hear what he was saying. And like, he was like, maybe like 3 or 4 feet away from me. Like, he wasn't that far away, but he was mumbling. And he just, keep it on. Just keep the shoes on. And I was like, okay, shoes on. And I was like, jacket off. He's like, no, keep it on. And I was like, okay. Did you say take it off? And he's like, no, keep it on. And like, he got pissy at me, right? I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Jack, what? But like, so like, I'm talking to this guy, and like, he's getting pissy with me. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, you know, I follow his instructions and everything, but I'm like putting stuff into the bins and like getting it ready to be put into the scanner or whatever. Not even 30 minutes in this trip, I freaking lose one of my rings. I had a ring on, and like I had 2 rings on one finger, and it was like doubled up. And somehow during this interaction where I was like sliding shit off my like arms and like you know, like trying to take my jacket off for a second and things like that, and like putting things into bins and whatever the hell else I did, like I somehow lost my ring. I don't know how, I don't know where, it just freaking fell off. And so yeah, lost that. That kind of sucked. That was like within the first 30 minutes. And so we get through the, like, I go through the freaking like security, and like I realize it pretty much like immediately after, because I'm checking to make sure I got everything. And I'm like, oh, like what happened to my ring? And like I see it's on my finger, and I'm like, okay, well, fuck me, I guess. Like, I can't really go back. So I just had to give up on that. And that was pretty chill. Like, it is what it is. Like, you know, like the rest of it's like, the security was fine. Like, for the first time in like a long time, they didn't pat me down. Usually at the airports, they always fucking pat me down. And they've been like chill about it recently, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad that like they're not doing that anymore, because it's kind of ridiculous. And TwitchCon felt like a miss this year. I'm saying. Also, what's up, Outlaw? So I went through security and I boarded my flight and I went through Southwest. And if you don't know, Southwest has this like different, it has this different like thing. It like they do things differently. They board flights where like you are called in like groups, and then like based on these groups, you get to seat yourself. You don't. There's no assigned seating, like technically speaking. It's based on like your ticket purchase. I think you can kind of pick like the area that you want to be in, but like it's like kind of open, like it's open seating, so like you're not guaranteed that spot. And then also like I think it is also based on when you check in. Like if you check in late to your flight, then you may not like actually be in like a higher level or a grouping that seats you sooner. So anyways, I get onto this flight and I sit down, and then like pretty much immediately after I sit down, this like I sit in between like this guy and this woman, this like older lady, and like I'm like, oh, this is fine. Like I don't care about being in the middle seat. I know a lot of people like they hate that. Like that's like the bane of their existence. Like they can't stand it being in the middle. I don't really fucking care. I like it's uncomfortable being on a flight regardless of where I'm sitting. Like it doesn't make a difference to me. But I get on this flight and we get up in the air, and this guy that was sitting next to me, he's actually a dad, and his wife and kid are sitting on the other side, like on the other side of the aisle, and she comes over into like her dad's lap and like starts like squirming around, doing all kinds of shit. And I decided to watch this show called Scavenger's Reign. It's not exactly like I didn't really know what to expect. I'll be so real. Like I kind of thought it would be like this kind of like sci-fi like atmospheric type of anime. That's kind of what it is. But if you haven't watched it, it's actually got a lot of shock value. Like there's a lot of like gross stuff. Like they're cutting up animals and like it's all like alien plant life and shit. So they're like using like animals for various things. Like in the first 5 minutes or so, like one of the main characters goes and slices up this like cow looking creature, like slices up its stomach and then starts like moving through its intestines and shit. And I'm like watching this on a flight. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if this is great to watch on a flight. I was like, I hope there's no nudity, because then it's really, I have to turn it off at that point. Because like I'm not gonna be watching like nudity and on a public flight. Like that feels icky, right? Like especially when there's like children nearby and everything. Like that was, yeah. So like I just tried to like hide the iPad from the kid whenever like weird shit was happening on the screen. But yeah, Scavenger's Reign, very interesting show. It's got a lot of shock value, and it's shock value in like gross factor and just like, you know, things you don't expect. So yeah, like, you know, like how like there's like that parasitic fungus or whatever that infects like ants and like causes it to do shit, and then it sprouts out of its body. Like it's shit like that. It's like that's what the show is like. Anyways, so not only did like I sit next to a kid that's squirming around on my like flight there, on my return flight I also got seated next to a kid And this time it was my decision. Like, I actually made the decision to sit next to this kid. But I made the decision like kind of like in a split instant, because I was trying to find a place to put my bag and like my luggage, and there wasn't like very much space, and there wasn't very many open seats, like, and there was a bunch of people behind me. And so I just tried to make sure that I was quick. Like, I was just trying to be as quick as I could to like get seated and everything. So I saw like an open spot by a window, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll take this. And I didn't really pay attention to who was sitting there, but there was a kid sitting in the middle row, and this kid is like a baby. Like she is like maybe like 2 or 3. And this has got to be one of the like loudest kids that was just screaming the whole time, like the whole time, through the flight home. My God, I don't know how I got like freaking 2 kids on 2 separate flights. Like, how does that happen? Like, I don't know. But anyways, just my luck, I guess. Just my luck. But kids on flights, classic. Yup. So the second day, or sorry, the first day of Twitchcon, I realized that I made a mistake. Chat, I made a fucking mistake. I got off my flight and I got to my hotel, and I picked a hotel that's like right next to the TwitchCon venue. Like, it's walking distance, like literally the closest hotel that I could find. And I booked my flight later. It was supposed to be at 6 p.m. It got delayed, of course. And by the time that I landed, it was 7:30. So I take my like, you know, lift to my hotel. I check into the hotel, and then lo and behold, I go out to go and get my badge, like pick up my badge for TwitchCon, and it is dead empty. Like, no one is around. The venue looks like closed as fuck. And I'm just like walking, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, surely it's just like all the stuff that's happening is just out of sight and I can't see it. And like, surely I can still pick up my badge. So I'm walking, and I'm like, as I'm walking, I'm looking to see like if freaking badge pickup is still open and everything, because it's a long walk. Like, if you haven't seen the TwitchCon like venue, it is massive. Let me look at San Diego Convention Center. Let me look at like a map and show you guys. I think that give you a good representation. Okay. All right, so this might be a good image of it here. All right, so this thing is so big that it spans like multiple lots, right? Like, or multiple streets, I should say. And it's kind of hard to tell from this picture, but like, I want to say this thing is like, if you've been to Genesis, it's like triple the size of Genesis. So it's pretty big. And you can tell like just looking at like the hall letters and stuff, you got like Hall G, Hall F, Hall E, Hall D, Hall C, Hall B, 2B, and then like Hall A and everything. Like, it is freaking big. So it's nothing you know, it's nothing small in terms of like size and everything. So I'm walking like from my hotel, which is on the far end, right? It's like the very far end of the venue. Like, so like I'm walking long ways from the very like, you know, backside of the venue all the way to basically the front, because for whatever reason, that's where they put badge pickup. And so I talked to one of the guys that's like there, and he's like, oh, go to hall B, right? So like I was at like, or sorry, not hall B, hall H or something. I was at like the other side walking all the way, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll walk all the way. And he didn't say anything about how it was closed, how the freaking badge pickup was closed at 8. And I'm looking at my time, and like for whatever reason, like my mind is reading that it's like like 7. It's like 7:30, but in reality it is 8:30, and that means it's closed because they close at 8 for badge pickup. So I go all the way to this, you know, other side of the building, and I can't get in. Like the guy's like, oh, we're closed, you can't get in, you're gonna have to pick up your badge tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So I don't have anything I can do. Like literally the one thing that I was gonna do, like pick up the badge, get some dinner, and then like maybe see if I can't walk the venue or something like that, like for anything that's like open late, but I wasn't able to do anything like that. So I just had to like basically go back to like my hotel and get some dinner. And like fortunately I like booked a hotel that was next to a bunch of different like restaurants and like places you can go to like get snacks and stuff like that. So I went back to my hotel and just like went and got some food at a place that was nearby. And it was a lot of walking. Like also like it was dark and there was like no lights and everything. I also took a picture on like the stairs going up the convention center to like a higher like floor where you can like walk around on the roof or whatever. I don't know for sure. I didn't go all the way up because the stairs are like freaking huge. They were so long. So I just went up a little bit and then like took a picture, and I was like posting on social media. I was like, someone please adopt me. Show me around, take me to the parties. I don't know what I'm doing. This is the first time I've ever been to Twitchcon. Please, please. And that didn't work. so that was kind of a wash. No one like reached out. Like what I realized is like everyone was already like going to parties or at parties, and they were all not on social media at that point. So I fucked up in 2 ways. I should have pre-planned the parties. Now the more you know, right? Like how are most people supposed to know that? I figured, because I looked at the event list and like everything was just kind of like ad hoc. But I didn't really think that like you couldn't go to the parties without invites. Like that just didn't cross my mind. I assumed there were parties that were like you know, like closed parties, like I like, you know, private parties that were invite only. I assumed that was the case. I just didn't know that majority of the parties are invite only. That is what I did not know. So I wasn't able to do anything. I got dinner. I went back to my hotel room. I just like watched some freaking like YouTube or whatever and called it a night early. And well, like my plan was to like wake up early and go get my badge and just like walk the venue from there. So I did that. I woke up. I got to the venue probably around like 9:30. Got my badge, and then I lined up for the expo. And if you don't know, the like expo itself doesn't open until, I want to say it was like 10. It doesn't open until 10. And the amount of people there was crazy, but like you can see this is when it opened and everyone was just walking in, and the line itself was like, it was pretty big. Like this is like everyone walking in the lines as it's like you know, like going back and forth. There's like zigzagging between like different sections and everything, and it was full. Like it was like, I want to say it like the line wrapped around probably like 6+ times. It was crazy. So like that seemed to be like a rarity. Like people would only be waiting in line for the initial opening at 10 a.m. After that, like no one was waiting in line. Like I was able to walk through that area like without waiting in line whatsoever. So I don't know why they don't just open it immediately. I'm not really sure what that's about. Because it's not like there's security guards there or like checking anything. Like the security is at the door. So this was already inside the venue after you got your badge. It didn't make sense. So I start walking around the expo, and I'm just like checking it out. I'm just trying to like see what there is to do. And while I'm walking around, there are just people everywhere with freaking like rigs in their hands. Like hold on, I gotta like show you like what it looks like in real time. Basically they had one of these, right? They had like a freaking like setup like this with a gimbal and a phone, and they were just like, everyone was doing this shit. Like they all were just like fucking walking around with these things and live streaming or recording or something. And it was pretty impossible to not walk like into someone's stream or into someone's video or whatever the fuck as you walked around. Like it was just like impossible not to have that happen. So that was pretty surreal, because it was just like, holy shit, like I haven't seen this level of like online interactions and engagement that's happening in real time and with so many people in a way like this before in my life. Like it was really weird. But like it was interesting because I also like caught wind of what people were saying on streams and like what they were saying to chat and everything. And it was super interesting because there were people just talking about like who they met, what they did, or like the interactions they have with certain streamers or people or whatever. And it was a lot of that. It was a lot of clip farming. It was a lot of hearsay and drama, or you know, just like tea, like sharing tea essentially. And it was interesting. I didn't personally partake. I just decided to go in with the intent of experiencing it and not really focusing on making content, because this was my first time. I wanted to see what it was like before I tried to do something like that. And it was weird seeing that be like such a highly, you know, active thing that people were doing. Also, I noticed the internet was really good for this venue. Like, I was surprised how good the internet was. Like, the signal was good, I mean. But I think they intentionally set that up because of how many people were intended to be streaming there. So I think they had, like, freaking antennas in the convention center itself set up specifically for cellular service for people to do that. I think that like that's the only way to explain it, because this building is massive and clearly like cell phone signal would not be good otherwise. but I was getting like 5G like everywhere I was walking. So, you know, I think they set that up well at the very least for that to happen. But anyways, so I'm walking around. I'm checking out the whole area. I'm just like seeing what there is to see, and I was just like looking around. I came across the Capcom booth, and you can see here like they have Resident Evil Requiem as one of the like booths that they had set up. And this was basically like a live demo that you could play, and they were inviting people to come and play, but you had to wait in line. They were also doing this for Onimusha, which is another game that they're releasing, Capcom is releasing. And the line for Onimusha was like, I want to say it was really small at first. It was probably like 15 minutes or so. But the line for Resident Evil 9 was shorter, or sorry, was bigger. And I was most interested in playing that and seeing like what that's all about, and to like see if it was a game that I would maybe want to play in the future, or stream it or something like that. So I decided to wait in this line, and it probably had like maybe, I want to say like 8 people or so in line. It wasn't like a ton of people, but it was you know, it was significant. And I didn't realize how long the demos were going to be for each person, but it seems like the length of time was scaled based on the size of the line, because when the line was smaller, there were people that were like sitting at the stations playing the demo for like 20 plus minutes. Like that, it felt like 20 plus minutes. And they had 4 stations set up that like people were rotating through. And for whatever reason, these 2 guys in particular got extra freaking time on their setups. Like they got like, I think they got like at least 35 minutes or something. It was crazy. And I was not very happy about that, because like when I actually got to play, which took me, I think it took me like 40 minutes to 45 minutes to like actually get on and play. I got maybe like 10 to 15 minutes of playtime. I was not able to finish the like objective that I was trying to do. And basically it is, I don't know if you guys have ever played Alien Isolation, but it's very similar to that, like in this part of the demo that they were showing off, which was you like encounter this scary monster type thing, and you're trying to get out of this area, and you're kind of like, your progress is you know, trapped behind certain objectives. So, like you gotta get like a power fuse, or you gotta find a key, or you have to like find like a lighter to like see the like in the dark, and or like find a light to turn shit on, or like, you know, unlock something to go progress. So that was what I was doing, which was just like, I was just like trying to like do all these things, but there was also this like monster that was actively stalking me and trying to kill me while I accomplished these objectives. And I got most of the way there, but then I tried to do the bottle trick, like, you know, what you would do in like The Last of Us, where you throw a bottle and you distract your, you know, whatever is like trying to you know, stalk you or trying to find you or whatever. And so I did this, I threw the bottle, but I didn't expect the character to throw the bottle in the way that it did. And like the arc was not what I was like anticipating. Like I was looking at the screen, I was like, okay, like this will go around and it'll like hit on the other side of the monster, right? It threw the bottle exactly onto the monster. So the monster's just like, oh, let me just kick your ass now. so I expected to just die there because like in Alien Isolation, once you get caught, you're just dead. Like you don't get a second chance. You just die. So when that didn't happen, I was surprised because I was alive but I was wounded and my character was slower and I had to like hobble around to find my way through and like try and survive. And it has safe zones very similar to Alien Isolation, where like places where you won't get hurt. In Resident Evil 9, it's like areas that are like well lit that particular monster wouldn't go into for some reason. But same type of vibe, the monster would jump into vents at safe zones, and then like you wouldn't know where it's at. And so like once you go back out, it could jump out of that same vent or somewhere else, and you don't know. So yeah, it was interesting. But anyways, I was able to progress and get almost everything done, and I was just trying to find like this power fuse to unlock this door and progress. And then it cut me off. I wasn't able to finish. So that was kind of shitty. Also, like the for whatever reason, the side that I was playing on, like there was 4 stations, like I mentioned. The 2 stations that, like the side that I was at, didn't have chairs. I don't know why. They decided like they didn't have enough chairs, so they just didn't give chairs to those 2 stations. And the other side had chairs. And I was standing in this line for like 40 to 45 minutes, and then I had to stand while I played the game. And I'm just like, really? Okay. But you know, it is what it is. Like, it was worth it to try the game and like see what it was like and get an idea of whether or not I'd want to play it. I think that like ultimately I feel like I need to see more gameplay. Like, I'm gonna wait to see more gameplay from like gameplay footage that's released, just to make sure that I'm invested. I think the story is good. The story seems interesting, engaging, and everything. It's just the gameplay. I don't know if like I'm fully invested in it. If it's because like supposedly it's not all like that section of the demo that they showed. So I want to see what other parts of the game is like to really get an idea of if I want to dive into it or not. Anyways, so that was Resident Evil 9. It was pretty cool. Only gripe was like the camera was a little jiggly. Like, it didn't, like, third-person camera felt kind of jiggly. Like when you walk around and everything, it just kind of jiggled a bit, which is weird. So I don't know. It is what it is. But okay, so that was pretty much like towards the other side of the expo. Like, I had walked most of the expo. So after that, like, I was looking around to see what else there is. I saw that there was like the meet and greet side, like, and they had that all set up. They had like a State Farm like gamerhood area set up where they were doing like an event there and streaming that. They also had this live presentation where this dude was like talking about tips for like making short form content and shit like that. And then there was this Twitch like Rivals live stream event that was for like larger scale creators that were participating in everything, and they were like competing in like various games. Like, there was like Fortnite or whatever the hell. So that was interesting. I didn't really dive into that. I was like, okay, like, this is cool, but like, I'm gonna see what else there is, just to, because this is something that I can watch online if I really wanted to see it. And so I just kept looking around, and I eventually came across this like booth where they were doing like hair and stuff, and I was a little bit surprised. I was like, oh, there's like this this booth where like people are like getting their hair done, and so like I very briefly just kind of like stared there for a second. I was like, what is happening here? And then all of a sudden this lady comes up to me, and she's like, girl, come here, just come here. And I was like, huh? What's going on? What's going on? I was like stun locked. I was like, what is happening? Like, she's like, just sit down. Just sit down. Just come here and sit down. And I was like, okay, sure. All right. Yeah, I'll sit down. So I sit down, and she's like, what do you think about getting some temporary extensions in your hair? And I was like, okay, like right now? And she's like, yeah, I can put them in right now if you want to try it. And I was like, all right. Not what I had planned to do, but okay. I guess I'll give it a try. So I did this, and I got these extensions, like the hair extension. And so just to give you an idea, this is what my hair looks like prior to the hair extension. You can see like the length here, right? Like take note of that. And then this is what it looks like after with the extensions. Like you can see like the hair is clearly much longer. Oh my god, why does my browser keep doing that? So you can see like it, you know, it's pretty long, and like it makes the hair much fuller and everything. It was interesting to try, but this lady kind of like, she kind of like messed up my hair a bit. Like she kind of fucked up my hair just a little bit. Mostly just because like she was like restyling my hair a lot to show me like how you would style the extensions with the hair and everything. So like it just like made my hair really messy. But it was fun to try out. I ended up making an impulse purchase and buying these though, buying like the extensions, and I regret it. Like I like really regret it because it was like not worth the price. And like she's like, it comes with a free tool, but like the reality is like you pay for a majority of like the tool price plus the extensions. You I actually got like it's crazy. I got like roped in. I got like roped me in, and then like sat me down, and then like once I was like fully like locked in and invested emotionally, then they were like, do you want to buy these? Like I can have these like put in your hair, and you can try them out, and you can get them, you know, and see how you like them. And I was like, well, I've always thought about like trying it out and seeing if they could be good or whatever. So I was like, all right, why not? I'll give it a try. And then, you know, obviously like wasn't worth the price, but at least you didn't get roped to some TwitchCon pyramid scheme. That I would definitely notice, you know, too. I would definitely know, like I can get scammed by, you know, like cosmetics and apparel and shit like that, but pyramid scheme is where I draw the line. That is where I draw the line. Also, what's up, Kate? Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, like it turned out nice. Like they looked nice. The hair extensions looked nice. I don't know if I would wear them, like the extensions again or like a lot or at all. We'll see, because like it definitely pulls on your hair. Like you basically, the way they work, like they like there's like an invisible like string that goes around your head and then comes back around, and then like you have like these like little things that you put on the back that tie to your hair, and that keeps it in place. It's like, imagine like a Velcro or something like that. Like it's like it Velcros to your hair essentially, but it pulls on your hair too, and you can feel it. And so like it's not good for your hair. Like long term, it's not good. It's just like it's clearly not good. But it looks nice. So for big events that like you want to look like extra pretty with like more voluptuous hair, sure, you could do it. But anyways, I got it is what it is. So after the first day where like I just had fucking nothing going on, like I literally did nothing, I wasn't able to like go to any parties, anything like that, I reached out to the one friend that I knew was at Twitchcon and could invite me to stuff. So I reached out to my friend Dom, and I wanted to like just make sure that I had like a good second day, like a good day 2, so that I didn't miss out on what the TwitchCon experience could be. That was my goal. Like after day 1 was like a total flop, I was like, day 2, I gotta make this happen. Like I gotta just swallow my like pride and like reach out and make sure that like I get invited to something, because otherwise I might not like meet anyone, and I may not socialize with anyone, and I may just like end up flying to this convention just to walk the floor, and that's it. And that's not fun. That's like the opposite of what I wanted. My goal was to definitely like connect with people, socialize, get to see like other streamers in like the Twitch space and everything like that, and see like what that's like, you know, to meet them and talk to them and everything. So I reached out to my friend Dom, and he has connections, you know, across various like content creation space and stuff like that. He was part of the Creator U community. He was actually like a staff member for Creator U, and so he was actually with a bunch of like content creators at this like content house essentially. And Hercules from the Rocket League scene, she's like a caster and commentator. She was a part of this, and that was pretty cool to see. I didn't get to talk to her, but I just saw that like he was posting stories about it and everything. Anyways, I reached out to him, and I asked him if he knew of anything that I could get like an invite to, because like this is my first time. I'd like to like check out stuff, blah blah blah. And so he told me about a bunch of stuff. Like he told me about something for Square Enix, something for Riot Games, something for Stream Elements, and one like other thing that I don't really remember at this point. So I was like, ooh, the Square Enix thing definitely piques my interest. So apparently this is like a Square Enix like pop-up event at a cafe that was all expense paid for, like, you know, whatever food and drink you wanted to get at the event. And it's like a place that you could go and socialize and like meet other people that are like in the Square Enix community. So that was the intent of the private event. So he's like, yeah, let me see if I can't get you an invite. I know the community manager, and I can see if like I can get you an invite there. So I was like, all right, fingers crossed. Like let's pray that it works. let's hope he gets me in. But he did. He actually did. He got me an invite, and I was able to go. So I went and checked it out, and they had like this cool photo booth set up where like you could take pictures with like Square Enix characters and different backgrounds and stuff like that. And it was green screen, right? And then you could take pictures with those characters and stuff, and like change the background or whatever you want. And they had like a Final Fantasy VII poster that I copped. I got one of those off the table and like rolled it up and saved it for later. But I saw these two girls that were like taking photos at this photo booth, and then I decided to get into line, and they came in line after me after they finished taking photos. And I was like, that photo booth is so cool. Like I just like made a passing comment to them. I was like, that photo booth is so cool. I saw you guys taking pictures. It looks super fun. And they were like, oh yeah, it was like super fun. Like it's cool that they have this and everything. And then like like, I was like, yeah, for sure. And that was like, that was it, right? Like, that was the end of the conversation. But like, you know, so I turned back around, I'm like just waiting in line. She was like, sorry, what was your name again? And I was like, oh, sorry, I'm Emma. Nice to meet you. This is my first time here and my first Twitchcon, blah, blah, blah. You know, just like talking and whatever. And so we ended up like connecting, her and her friend, and they're both streamers. And then like two other friends of theirs came and like sat down at the table after we got like food and drinks and stuff, and we like were chatting all together, and we all added each other on IG, which is super cool. So like we were able to connect. And I also talked to the community manager a little bit at the venue, and just like kind of you know, got an idea like what, you know, what was going on and everything like that for this setup. And she's the I don't like, might be misspeaking it, like she's either the social media manager or the community manager, or both. It could be both. Anyways, for Square Enix. And so this place was packed. Like it was like a little cafe. I want to say it was probably maybe like double the size of this room. And this room's not very big. You know, like you can see like wall to wall, like, you know, it's not very big. So I was maybe like double or triple the size of this room, and it was like fully packed, like out the door packed. So like for the first part of it, it was so hard to like maneuver around and like even like try and socialize. But once it like cleared out a bit, we were able to sit down and get a seat and hang out and chat and everything. And so that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. It was cool getting to talk to other girlies in the streamer space, and like, you know, so easily connect with them. Like that was what I was hoping to do. They also were variety streamers, so they did variety content, which was cool. And then after that, I was like, okay, like I walked like all day. I was like on my feet for hours, and I need to like, you know, get some rest. So I went back to like, after the Square Enix pop-up event that I went to, I went back to my hotel and just was like, all right, I'm gonna rest for like a couple hours, and then I messaged Dom again, and I was like, hey, if you end up planning dinner, let me know, because I'd like to go to dinner. And I forgot to mention this. I went to the restaurant at the hotel the first night, and the guy that was at the bar, like I sat at the bar because I'm eating by myself, and I'm like, this is awkward. I don't want to sit at a table just for one. And what's up, Albert? And so I was like, all right, well, like, you know, I'll just sit at the bar. This guy, the bartender named Daniel, he was pretty chill and everything. And I was talking to him, and as I was wrapping up my night on the first day, I was like, oh, like, you know, thank you, Daniel. I hope you have a good rest of your night, blah, blah, blah. And he was surprised I remembered his name, because like someone said it in passing and I just remembered it. And he's like, oh yeah, thank you for coming. Like, I hope you had a good time, and I hope you enjoyed the food and blah, blah, blah. And like, I'll see you again tomorrow night. And I was like, we'll see. We'll see. In the back of my mind, I was like, I'm not trying to come back here. I'm high-key not trying to come back. I'm trying to not come back as much as possible. Well, the food was just like, it was mediocre. And like, I also was like trying to socialize. So like coming back to that restaurant and eating at the bar again meant that I failed. That means I failed like completely. So I reached out to my friend Dom again, and I was like, hey, like if you have any dinner plans, I'd love to join in. because I knew that he probably would be like doing something with friends. So he did, and he invited me, and we ended up going to, I think it was called Fisher King or something, Kingfisher. I don't, something along those lines. But it was like this. It was like this kind of like seafood style restaurant or whatever. And he ended up inviting the Square Enix social media manager and 2 other friends. And yeah, I was able to connect with them. I got their IGs as well and talked to them. So the social media manager for Square Enix, her name is Sai. She was super cool. We talked for a while too, and like I think we just like quickly like bonded like that. So when I go down to SoCal in 2 weeks, I'm actually gonna go to the Final Fantasy boba bar that is modeled after Seventh Heaven, which is super sick. And she's gonna go with me because like you know, I was telling her I'm gonna be coming down, and if you wanted to hang out, let me know. And she's like, oh, have you been to the boba bar? And I was like, I've heard of the boba bar. Let's freaking go. Like, take me there. Let's go. I want to do it. So I was already planning to go there, so it like works out perfectly that she invited me. So that's on my docket for when I go down. But so that was day 2. That like I had the dinner. We hung out. Like it was pretty much like a late dinner. Like by the time we got done, it was like 9 or something. Like probably like 9:30. And then I got dropped off. And by then it was 10, so I just like called it a night after that. It was pretty much a long day. Because I was out from like 10 to 10, so like that's a long amount of time. Yeah, so that was day 2. Day 3, I pretty much was leaving the like in the afternoon. So at 3 p.m. was my flight. So that meant that I really just had time to get lunch and then head to the airport and pack everything up and then head to the airport and head back home. So that's what I did. I kept the day 3 pretty short. If I had to change things, I would say I would definitely plan in advance for parties, making sure that I've like gotten into any invite only events as I can. There was the Streamlabs thing. I tried to get into that, or sorry, not Streamlabs, Stream Elements. There was a Stream Elements party that was private invite only. I was not able to make it into that because I RSVP'd too late, and it just was like pretty much like, you know, people weren't getting approved at that point. So that sucked, but like it is what it is. And I didn't really want to risk like trying to like show up and then like, you know, being that type of person where like I wasn't able to get in. So I just didn't go instead, which was fine because it was, you know, it was a long day anyways. But yeah, if I could change it, I would have set up more private events. But it's difficult because like your first time, you don't really know what there is to do and how to do it and everything. And like you also have to have the connections to do that. So it really helps to know someone that can get you into these events. And then also it's really useful to just like make sure you do your research beforehand. What's up, Denji? So yeah, I think overall it was fun, but we have to talk about the controversies. We have to talk about like the bad. There were negative things, okay? There were negative things. I personally had a positive experience. I felt like it was pretty solid. Like I didn't have any like severely negative negative things that happened to me or anything like that. But that's not the case for everyone. There were some situations where a streamer called Emberwyn got, unfortunately, sexually harassed. So if you don't know about this, there was a situation where she was doing a meet and greet, and during the meet and greet, there was this guy that just cut into, he cut into the line and just started to like try and kiss her. And yeah, you can see this dude, the security guard, this is Emery's personal security guard, came and pushed him away and tried to get him to you know, like go away. And this happened, and there was no one there that was part of the Twitch security staff that like interfered or stopped this guy from cutting in line or anything. Like, it just happened and no one did anything about it. It was Emery's personal security that ended up stopping it, right? So that's like a really like fucked up situation. She proceeded to share a bunch about this online and talk about like everything that happened, including like the details that I shared about the security guard and everything. Also, in addition to that, she did a freaking hour-long stream, like literally the day after, just talking about everything and how Twitchcon and the staff are so negligent on security and dealing with these things. Initially, this dude, he got a 30-day ban online only for Twitch. A 30-day ban. That was what they did. That was their little slap on the wrist, you know? Like that's all they that's all they cared to do. And then obviously like Emery was like, that's not enough. Like we need to like ban this guy indefinitely from the like, you know, in-person events and everything. And so it was only after she like put her foot down and stood up for that as an action that they agreed and did that. But like initially they were just going to do a 30-day ban online on Twitch. That's it. So you can tell that there's just like so little concern about the security and safety of content creators, especially like larger content creators. This guy was just able to literally walk in, like you can see him just like walk in, you know, with no like issues whatsoever. And like Emery was talking to someone else. Like there's another person that's there, and this guy just walks in, and like this dude's like, whoa, what's going on? Like what is he doing? And then like this happens, and no one stops him. So like this is clearly just like, you know, not well it's not well thought out. Like they're not doing enough to protect people and make sure that they're safe. So that is a pretty like bad thing that they need to address. And I've seen a lot of controversy surrounding it. There's other things that came to light about how there was just like additional negligence from the TwitchCon staff, and they just didn't care about security overall and other facets, not just this particular instance. So I think that it's pretty clear. Like it's also worth mentioning there's other content creators that are that they actually stated prior to going or prior to TwitchCon like happening that they weren't going to go, that they were canceling their trip to go because they were concerned about security and safety. So like it's clear that this has like been an ongoing issue and part of an issue that like Twitch isn't taking seriously, and then this happens, right? So like they're just justified in their like reasoning at that point. And not only that, the TwitchCon staff pressured content creators to go and do these meet and greets, like high profile content creators to do these meet and greets, because it drives traffic, right? It drives viewers, it drives people coming to the event, and they want that to happen in order for the attendance to be high. So they were pressuring people to do it, to attend, despite not providing proper security. So there's a lot of people that are saying that this may be the last TwitchCon, or the last like TwitchCon that they go to, or whatever the case is. Like, so I don't know what's gonna happen. There's even people calling for Dan Clancy, who is the Twitch CEO, to step down and to not be the CEO anymore, and for there to be structural change, and like for there to be you know, things done about it. So it's pretty significant. I don't know if it's gonna like get any better. It feels like this type of thing, it always has to get worse before it gets better. And this was pretty bad. It, like, fortunately for Emberwyn, like, she didn't encounter a situation where like she actually got kissed. Like, he just tried to kiss her and she was like able to avoid it. But like, it's still sexual assault, you know? She's still getting sexually harassed, and that is significant enough as is. Like, it doesn't need to get worse than that. Like, we need to stop this before it gets worse. So anyways, so that's my spiel about what happened, and like why it is just blowing up all over the internet about Emberwyn. There's a lot of people that reached out to me after I got back from TwitchCon, and they were asking me, they were like, hey, like, I heard a lot about what happens, like, how was your experience? They wanted to know, like, what did you experience? Was it positive or negative? Because of what they heard about people's safety and like people being worried. I will say, like, I probably shouldn't have gone alone. I feel like it's probably a bad decision to go to, as a woman, to go to a large convention like this, regardless of like my, you know, like, size as a community or whatever. It's not probably that smart to participate in alone. I would recommend making sure you go with a friend and be safe, just in case, because, you know, you never know what's gonna happen, and it's better to be safe than sorry. And safety in numbers is a thing. You can't always be safe, even in like a group setting or with another person, but you know, it's at least a little bit better. So anyways, so that is TwitchCon. I feel like I could see myself going back, but I would want to see how they address the security concerns. Also, I wouldn't go back without going with someone. I might also wait until I have a larger community to even go, to like justify it more. I think that I was able to do a good amount of socializing and meeting people, but I feel like I could have also done that in other ways that doesn't have to be dependent on TwitchCon. Of course, like, meeting people in person and like getting to talk to them in person is always going to be like, there's always going to be more merit in that, and like you're gonna have a better time socializing and just like getting to know people, and you get to build a connection with someone easier that way, in my opinion. But does it justify spending all the money to go to TwitchCon, and, you know, with the sole purpose of doing that? Probably not. Would I go as a viewer? No. Probably not. Honestly, like, the TwitchCon experience outside of like socializing and after parties and you know, just like getting to try out like games that are not yet released, there's not much value. Like, there's very little value. It's very much a cash grab for sponsors and you know, tech that is being used by streamers. They're all there trying to promote their products, which is like, you know, that's fine. Like they should do that, but it's not a great experience for average viewers of streamers. Like they're not getting a lot of great value going to just do meet and greets. Like that's literally all they're getting is like the meet and greet value, right? Yeah, there's events there that they have. The Rivals events is cool. The State Farm event is cool. Like that's fun, and it's cool to see like there's some like additional stuff like the like live podcasts and stuff like that. But like these things are available online. You know, people can watch these online, and arguably the experience is better online because you get to see more perspective and like better quality and so on, so on, so on, right? So like it's not the same like a tournament whereas a tournament there's an energy, because the energy is divided at TwitchCon. Like there's so many people doing so many different things that not everyone's engaged in everything that's happening. So it's probably not worth it outside of like going to meet, you know, a streamer and get some merch or like, you know, other little like in-game that you might have like socializing or networking. But if you go with the sole intent to make connections and go to after parties and stuff like that, yeah, you can have a great time. I really do truly think that the experience kind of is like a bell curve. So like the bell curve would start where like you got your like your normal person that's just like a viewer or like non-content creator or whatever. They would be at the very bottom of the bell curve, right? Like it's basically flat. And then you have your like mid-range like streamer or whatever. That's like kind of the peak. The person that's like not super popular but has a big enough community that they could get recognized somewhat, not a lot. They're probably gonna have the best experience because they're gonna get to meet a lot of people in their community. They're gonna get to meet a lot of other content creators because they're more well known, and so like it's easier to connect and also make connections through parties and so on and so on. So they're gonna have the best experience. Their experience is gonna be like an 8 out of, or it's gonna be like a 7 or 8 out of 10, right? And then like the average viewer or like normie is gonna get like maybe like a 3 or 4 out of 10, right? And then like on the other end of the bell curve, the like highest you know, performing content creators, they're gonna have a similar experience to the average, you know, viewer or whatever that goes to TwitchCon. They're gonna get a 3 or 4 out of 10, maybe even lower, because they're only there to cater to their fans and do meet and greets, cater to their fans and also to Twitch, because they're, you know, they're requesting them to do this. And do like sponsorship stuff and stuff like that. Like they're not necessarily there to make connections and to socialize. That's like a byproduct of like the very little time that they have to themselves. And so they're not gonna have as great of a time, but it is what it is. So yeah, that was my thoughts on TwitchCon overall. I think it's a super interesting experience. I think it was definitely worth it to check out. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that recap.